Hi, everybody. It's Inside the Cardinal Playbook, the William Jewell College Coaches Show. And on today's show, we'll talk basketball with head coaches Jill Slominski and Larry Holley. And we'll talk some baseball with Mike Stockton. Inside the Cardinal Playbook after this.
Members of the Cardinal Sportscasters Club include...
Hi, I'm Kurt McCoy. Social media is where your customers are, offering affordable and effective website design services. Let's tell your story.
Break through negative thinking and bad habits. Liberty Hypnosis and Wellness will help you improve your performance. See them at 28 Westwoods Drive or on their website, libertyhypnosis.com.
We're inside the Cardinal Playbook with head women's basketball coach Jill Slominski, who just finished a workout and is nice enough to sit down with us. Tell us about this weekend, because it was a chance for you against Bellarmine. Looked like you had a real chance to tie the game late. Then you come out and you do beat Southern Indiana. It was a big weekend.
Yeah, it was. And I've been telling the players that we're close. And, early this year we played really tough teams. And we've been playing better and we've been playing hard. And, the Bellarmine game was disappointing because we lost. They were 8-0 coming in and ranked in the top 25. And, for us, we were there the whole game, or we kind of fought back the fourth quarter. And free throw shooting was a big one for us. We're usually very good from the free throw line and struggled and going 59%, 16 for 27. But there were a lot of positives there. And what I was most pleased with from the Bellarmine game to the Southern Indiana game was our effort, I thought, stayed the same, and we played hard and we played together, and it was kind of a fun atmosphere. And then for us to get a win against Southern Indiana, who was 10-1 and won their last 8 games, was big, and hopefully it's a confidence booster for our kids, and that we can keep that going and the intensity level going and keep improving.
Did you wear Southern Indiana down a little bit because they led you through, I think, a good part of the game?
I'm not sure if we wore them down. I think we did a better job on their post players, kind of changed some things up during the game against their post players. They're really strong, and they were a lot for us to handle. And defensively, I thought we did some nice things. I think at halftime we made some adjustments maybe that helped us. But, I think we hit some big shots. And then, towards the end, we hit some free throws that we needed. And I'm not sure if wearing them down, I thought, everybody that played, did what they needed to do. And probably what I was most proud of, if you looked at both of our games, this is probably the most into and the most intense our bench has been too.
Oh, really?
You saw them standing up the whole, a lot of times and cheering. And I think, that whole family unification thing really helps our players and our team.
Well, that's always been a big part of what you bring to this program, what you want the program to be. I want to talk about a couple of individuals on the post there. You start Lindsay McCoy. She's been seeing some minutes. Audrey Rodriguez came in and played a little bit too for you, especially on Saturday.
Yeah, Lindsay gives us some energy right away. Really good player, very talented kid. She's a 6'1", 6'2" player that can shoot the three and go inside. And I think she's given us some energy right away. And then Audrey's a very talented kid, and she's a transfer from Spain, and I think that takes a little bit of time to adjust to American ball, and she's a stubborn kid too, which is good in a lot of ways. But sometimes she'll tell me that she knows what I want, and she doesn't because she's stubborn, and you think she should know. And
do you know anybody like that, by the way?
Yeah,
were you a player that way?
Trust me, I've heard that quite a bit, but. I was really, really happy for her with that Southern Indiana. She's somebody that can really help us. She's a kid that can shoot outside, and as far as strength-wise, she's really strong and can post up. And was really pleased with for her. She's somebody that, again, I think as we go on, this year and down the road next year and the year after that, she could be a really good player for us.
Another player, and I don't want to let this go, but if you were at the game or watched the game, you would see Mackenzie Johnson, who had a war underneath with a couple of different post players, and she, on the defensive end, made, I thought, a big difference.
I'll tell you what, Mackenzie is somebody that battles all the time, and she knows she's not as big of an offensive threat, but she's somebody that has been undersized, ever since she's gotten in here, and finds a way to play and finds a way to get the rebounds, and will go up against those bigger players and not back down and hold her own. And I thought she did a great job against those kids were big. Southern Indiana really, with Bellarmine and Southern Indiana, both very good teams, but they're different. And Southern Indiana, I think their strengths are just how big and strong they are.
Right.
And I thought, Kenzie came in and gave some really good minutes for us and got some key rebounds and some key stops for us.
Speaking about coming off the bench, or the bench in general, Kelsey Nickerson had a pretty nice pair of games for you coming off as a three-point threat. And I think also Paul came off the bench and did a nice job there too.
Yeah, those two both are great three-point shooters, and we have some kids that can put the ball in the hole, but that's both of their specialties. And it's nice. I think I'm trying to kind of figuring out some things a little bit as far as we have 17 players, and so that's been a little bit of a challenge because they all bring different things. And Megan hit some threes early, and then she kind of cooled off, and then I thought Kelsey came in and really did a nice job, and it was good to see her get that opportunity and really take advantage of it.
So now you get the win over Southern Indiana, and you've got a game, in fact, a pair of games coming up on the road against a pair of teams that have not played very well. McKendree on Thursday night, and then University of Illinois Springfield on Saturday. What are you looking at as far as those two teams? What kind of style, and what are you prepared for?
I'm not sure if they haven't played well yet. They're playing everybody really close, and they both have new coaches this year, and so I think, from a coaching standpoint, you kind of look at that as teams trying to get used to their new coaches and their new style. But you don't we're 5-9, 6-9 now, and so I hope people maybe look past us. I know not to do that with McKendree and Illinois Springfield, and I know our players won't. I think for us, our big thing yet is still, we've got it where we're playing hard. I think we need to get better at some of our little things, and then we'll adjust to what teams are doing. But I know, for those two teams, they're going to come in. They have, they're going to look at our record and see that they probably are looking forward to that and going in there and seeing what they can do. And then maybe, hopefully, we keep building on it. And for me, I'm really big on what we do and do our things well. And I took the team to the movie Creed yesterday. Yeah, it was funny. Most of my players have never seen Rocky, so it was a little different because so I kind of had to explain that to them. But one of the things they said is one step, one punch, one round, and that's kind of a philosophy of mine. Is that, you go just one thing at a time, one game at a time, and hopefully we can start getting better at some of those little things now and keep getting better and take one game at a time and hopefully put a run together and get us in a good position for playoffs, hopefully.
Looking back on this weekend, I know going into it, you were asked by myself, a lot of other people, how would the 21-day layoff affect you? How did it affect you?
Yeah, I think it's been really positive for us, and I think the players see that. I think all of us were a little worried, and I know they were probably a little worried about coming back, so I think they probably worked out more than what maybe any of us thought, because they came back in shape and ready to go. But I also think it was nice for them to be able to step away, go spend some time with family, and kind of get re-energized. And that's kind of what it feels like in practices and everything. They're just a little more energized and ready to go and a little more focused. And so that, for me, I think it's been a benefit for our program.
Final question, as you go into this last week of the break between semesters, are you looking forward to getting back where kids are on campus and in class, not just your team, of course, but the entire campus? Is that something you're kind of looking forward to? Very
much so. I just, it's nice to have some students at our games, but it's also nice to where the kids have a routine again. And I just think, right now, there's just, they come in here and shoot, and we have practice and things, but otherwise, and it's nice team bonding stuff, but I think they're ready for classes to start too, just that they have something. There's just a lot of dead time, and it might be nice for a little bit, but I'm ready, and I think the players are ready for all the students to be back and that, and so it's almost here.
That is head coach Jill Slominski talking about this weekend's games against Bellarmine and Southern Indiana. And when we return, it's Larry Holley to talk about the men's games.
Students learn best when they're fully engaged in their educational experience, and at William Jewell, we want that to happen every day in every class. This building, the Prior Learning Commons, is central to that effort. So every piece of furniture, every technology, every space has been designed to create engagement on the part of students.
Welcome back inside the Cardinal Playbook, and now we have a chance to visit with head men's basketball coach Larry Holley. And a tough game against Bellarmine, better effort against Southern Indiana. I'll leave it up to you. Where do you want to start?
Well, Bellarmine is pretty special. They're number 11 in the nation. They do have 2 losses, but those were both winnable games. And they're a veteran group. We had a great week of practice. I thought we were prepared, and boy, they just took us apart. We didn't take anything away from them. They kind of had their way with us, and if all you did was look at the 3-point shooting in the first half, that was a killer for us. They were 7 for 11. We were 0 for 11, I think, in the first half, and so that's not a good combination. And then they started out the second half with a 7-0 run to take a 40-point lead. So we pretty much played a lot of the guys and try to get rested up and hopefully get in a good frame of mind for Southern Indiana, which I think we did. I thought we played much better. Southern Indiana had won 7 in a row or 8 in a row, and they're now 12-2. So we haven't lost to anybody bad, but it was a 10-point game. We were in position to win it, just didn't get it done. So we are 0-4 in the league, but all 4 of those teams are tied for first place. 2 in the West and 2 of the 3 in the East are undefeated. So those 4 teams are 14-2, I think, in league play. So we haven't played anybody bad, but we had a chance to win 2 of them and didn't.
Well, I want to go back to Bellarmine for a second, because the old Pat Riley thing about the Lakers Showtime, where they wanted to fly, not run, but fly up the floor. And Bellarmine's as good a transition team, and has been since we've been in the league, as I've seen.
I think, yes, all the years we've been, it's a great league, especially at the top. And, of course, they won a national title in 2011. They've been to 2 Final Fours since, including last year. They've got a really good team, and they run a sound system that gets the shots that they want. I don't know if they'll go undefeated in our league, because there's so many good teams in our league. It's tough to win on the road, but they in Quincy took it to us pretty good. Once here at home with Bellarmine and on the road at Quincy, but I think they'll be tough to handle for anybody. But Southern Indiana is also an outstanding team, and but I was pleased with the fact we came out and played much better.
Talked about it in the Bellarmine game. You did get a long chance to look at some of the younger kids, and who kind of impressed you? Who stood out in those final minutes of the game?
Well, one of the individuals who brings energy every day in practice, and when he gets opportunity in games, is Chandler Lyon. And Chandler gave us a lift in the Southern Indiana game as well. But there's a number of them. The work ethic and the camaraderie of this group is great. We've just got to get a little tougher defensively, and a little mental, maybe a little more mentally tough, if that's a proper term. It's a great group. I look forward to practice every day. They're doing everything we're asking them to do. We just got to do it better.
Got to talk about Darius Tomlin. He has been consistently good all year, always in that 20-point range offensively, and boy, I think he's among your leading rebounders too.
He's a special young man. They say if you bring in a transfer and you get one good year out of him, that's a success. And he gave us a lot of good games last year. He's more consistent this year. He's healthier. He had some health issues, some injury issues last year. But he is having a terrific senior year. Really proud of him. He's a great athlete. He really is. And, we just need to get on the proper side of the ledger for him. We want this to be a great senior year for him and for Jason King, who's a reserve, our 2 seniors. And I think that'll happen. And their leadership has certainly been helpful as well.
Let's move on to talk about the upcoming weekend. McKendree first on Thursday night on the road, and then Illinois Springfield. And teams, when you look at their record, have struggled a little bit in the league. Is this a chance to kind of turn some things around, maybe?
Well, we'll see. I'm sure they're thinking the same thing. It's Thursday night, 0-4 William Jewell against 0-4 McKendree. And so something's got to give. Somebody's going to be 0-5, somebody's going to be 1-4. It's really about us. John Davenport, who played for us and assisted with us, was always fond of saying it's about us, and it really is. McKendree's a good team. They're certainly capable. They've got the winningest coach in the history of college basketball.
I'm going to talk to you about that.
And Harry Statham, and outstanding coach, obviously, and has done marvelous things with that program. But it's a game that we think if we play well, we'll have a chance to win it. And but I'm sure they're thinking the very same thing, and they have 0-4 William Jewell coming in, and they're licking their chops and thinking they're going to win their first conference game, so it'll be a good battle.
Harry Statham, number 1 among all NCAA coaches in terms of number of wins. Not many times you go face somebody that has more wins than you do in your career. I think you started the year 12th all time. How does it feel to be the little guy in that matchup?
Well, I've always been the little guy in that matchup. Gee whiz, he's done a marvelous job. Of course, like us, they were NAIA all those years, and the sledding's a little tougher in this league, especially for both of us. But he'll have him ready to play. He's had great success over the years.
What does he do well?
Well, number one, he gets good players, and then he gets them organized. And he's always had good shooters on his team. I've coached against him a few times, but I've also watched him a lot in the national tournament. They've been in the league with Columbia College and Park University, so I've had a chance to see him over the years when we've scouted or played Park and Columbia. And, he just runs a solid program with good fundamentals, and but he's had some guys who could fill it up, and we're all a lot smarter with guys who can do that.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the series between the two, you've only lost to him once, right?
Last year, and let's keep that quiet now because I don't want to ruffle Harry's feathers
saying.
or the Bearcats.
I don't want my coach to be denigrated here at all. So
we've been very fortunate. Coached against him once when I was an assistant at Northwest Missouri State, and we were fortunate to win that game. And I think we'd played maybe 3 times prior to last year, and we were fortunate to win those. But he's on a streak now. He's beaten us once in a row, and we want to stop that streak.
We'll stop that streak. How about Springfield? What do they have?
Well, Illinois Springfield is improved. They've played a tough schedule too. I mean, you look at the people they've lost to. I mean, it's similar to us, so they're not losing to bad people. Bill Walker's a tremendous coach. Known him forever. He was an outstanding player at Warrensburg High School and State Fair, and then Missouri Rolla. His dad was a longtime athletic director at the University of Central Missouri and assistant AD at UMJC when they moved to Division I. So the Walker family is pretty famous in the state of Missouri, and Bill's been a Division I assistant in all the major conferences at the Division I level, and decided he's had lots of opportunities to take Division II jobs, and this one appealed to him, and he's going to get it going. They're better than they were last year. They're just, they're playing a tough schedule. This league, I think, certainly at the top's the best in the nation. Always have felt that way since we've been in the league, and so if you can eke out a win or two against these guys at the top, it's special. But they're also 0-4. They're playing at Rockhurst on Thursday and then us on Saturday. So we'll see. We're not looking ahead to them, but certainly a good opportunity for us, and I'm sure McKendree and Illinois Springfield's thing is a good opportunity for them as well.
So the Cardinals go on the road. They'll play McKendree on Thursday night and then on Saturday afternoon at Illinois Springfield. But then you come back and next Monday, Martin Luther King Day, you have Rockhurst at home. And so a chance to be back at home on Monday for the Hawks, who are, I guess, much improved.
They are. They have a first-year coach, Drew Diener, won a national title at Cardinal Stritch, had a number of teams that got to the Final Four. His dad's his top assistant, and he was an outstanding collegiate player, and he's brought a great brand of basketball to Rockhurst. He brought with him a point guard from Fairleigh Dickinson, who's an outstanding player, and an outstanding freshman from Michigan to go along with the really talented players that were there from the Bill O'Connor regime before Bill retired last year. So they've gotten their act together, and they're tough. They have a win over Truman at Truman, and that's Truman's only loss in the league.
Right.
So they're very capable. They played Bellarmine a 10-point game, or 8 or 10-point game, and I think the same with Southern Indiana. So we'll have our hands full. And playing 3 games in 5 days is a challenge, especially getting back late from Illinois Springfield on Saturday night. But it's the same for them.
Right.
You know, they play at McKendree on Saturday. So we'll look forward to that game and see how we do at home. We didn't have the type homestand we'd hoped to have, but we'd like to get back on the winning track with Rockhurst on Monday.
And again, that will be a night game on Monday, the 19th? 19th.
Sounds right.
Something like that. Okay. Larry Holley, thank you so much. And we'll be back with more. Mike Stockton from baseball joins us in a moment inside the Cardinal Playbook.
At National Bank of Kansas City, we're all about you. Like you can bank 24/7 with online banking and online bill pay. And you can deposit checks anywhere, anytime with mobile deposit. And yes, you can receive the amazing 5-star customer-rated National Bank of Kansas City You Matter experience.
Truck Central is a company driven to provide an exceptional experience to each and every customer. And I know that National Bank of Kansas City is too. I'm Jeff Bloss, president of Truck Central. I'm in business for the long haul, and National Bank of Kansas City hit the ground running from day one, identifying ways to help my business thrive. I'm confident that I matter at National Bank of Kansas City.
Ready to bank where you matter? Visit bankofkc.com or call us at 913-905-2100 or 816-407-0300 to find the branch nearest to you. National Bank of Kansas City, a place where you matter. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Client testimonial, not a paid endorsement. Ratings on Zillow.com. Standard data rates apply.
Inside the Cardinal Playbook now, it's Mike Stockton, the head baseball coach at William Jewell College, and I always have to point out the regional coach of the year last year for your appearance in the NCAA tournament. Best year at Jewell so far, I think, in the NCAAs, but how does it rank all time with your years at Jewell? Because you've had some good ones.
Well, it's very rewarding. When we had the couple of bad years, I mean, you just really wanted to have a positive year, and when you hadn't experienced that for a couple of years, and it's just great. It's such a euphoric, awesome feeling to know that our team is headed in the right direction, and it ranks up there with some of our best years ever. So I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of the accomplishments that we had last year.
Are you into that mode where that was last year, now it's this year?
Definitely. Yep. You want to enjoy those moments and take the positives away and the things that you learn and make sure that you bring them to this year's team. But, you can't live in the past. You have to stay humble and not get, think you've arrived or anything like that, because just sports in general, but baseball, it's so fleeting, and, you can lose. It's easy to be on the other end of those one-run loss games. I've been there when, you've played well enough to win, but something happens and you lose the tough games. And last year, we won the tough games. We won the one-run ball games, and I know how fleeting that can be. So, we're not going to dwell on that. We're going to use some of the good experiences that we had from last year and hopefully incorporate it into this coming season. But, yeah, that's in the past, and we're going to focus on this spring.
So, with all of that being said, what's new for this year?
Well, every year presents new challenges, but we've got quite a few new guys on the team. And we've got to get them acclimated and get the chemistry headed in the right direction there. But, what we were able to do in the fall, I think we're headed in the right direction. So we're very excited to get spring baseball going.
Easier to recruit this winter after having such a great year?
Well, I think that, we've always done a good job of identifying the players that we need in our systems, getting them on campus. The trick is getting them to commit to you.
Sure.
But I do feel like, we're doing a better job of getting those kids to say yes. So we're excited where our recruiting is headed.
Okay. Mike, a lot of people probably think you sit back and just take vacation time between the last pitch of last year and the first pitch of this year. But what are some of the things that you guys do in the off season for college baseball?
Well, I'm always trying to, work on things, get better, research. I do a lot of reading, go to conventions, talk with my coaching staff. You're constantly trying to tweak things to make it better. You feel like you have a set of core principles that maybe you don't change, but some of the outerlying things you're always working to improve. And, that's what I do. I love baseball, so I'm always digging in, trying to find the newest, latest thing going on, and how can I still stay true to my core principles, but tweak some things if needed.
What is the number one most exciting thing that you're looking forward to in the coming year?
Oh, just competing with the team, getting back on the field and seeing how we're going to respond to a successful season. I think that by no means have we arrived, but I think other teams are going to treat us differently this year, where maybe we were overlooked a little bit. Now they know that, you know, we're a good ball club and they might approach us differently. So how are we going to handle knowing that there's going to be more of a target on our back? Teams are going to come into every game giving us their best, and how are we going to compete against that? So I'm excited for that challenge to see how our team's going to respond and play when the other teams know that, you know, we mean business. When does the first official practice occur, and when is your first game? First practice is this Monday. We'll get after it on Monday, and then our first game is February 18th down in Lawton, Oklahoma against Cameron University. That is head baseball coach Mike Stockton, and we'll be back with a final word inside the Cardinal Playbook after this.
My family is made up almost entirely of farmers and construction workers. So it's no surprise that my mom says the family motto is work hard, play hard. I grew up on a golf course, and it was the site of several family rivalries. Some of those have continued into college, as my brother plays golf at our rival Rockhurst. But don't worry, Mom, I'm still working hard in school, as a triple major. I'm Logan Ruth, and the GLVC is me.
We want to thank our head coaches, Jill Slominski and Larry Holley from basketball, and baseball's Mike Stockton for joining us this week inside the Cardinal Playbook. Remember, we'll have coverage of basketball this weekend from McKendree on Thursday and from the University of Illinois Springfield on Saturday afternoon. Plus, we'll have live swimming this week. It'll start at 5:40 Friday evening from the Mabee Center in Liberty as Jewel hosts Indianapolis. And that'll do it for this week's Inside the Cardinal Playbook.